Please be seated. The court is now back in session. This afternoon, the chamber will hear the testimony of the witness TCW 665. Court officer, could you invite the witness into the courtroom? President, good afternoon, Mr. Witness. What is your name? Answer. My name is Sokru, Mr. President. Thank you. Question, how old are you? Answer, I am 52 years old. Question, where is your current address? Answer, I live in Trapang Prasad District, Udor Mienchai Province. Question, what is your current occupation? Answer, I am a rice farmer. Question, what are your parents' names? Answer, my father is Doi, Ya Doi, and my mother is Ya Nghèo. Question, what is your wife's name and how many children do you have together? Answer, my wife's name is Tui Mui. We have 2 children. Thank you, Mr. Sokru. As reported by the greffier on the 5th of June 2013, that through your birth knowledge you have no relationship by blood or by law through any of the civil parties recognized in this case, nor through any of the 2 accused, namely Nunchi and Kil Sampon, and that you already took an oath at the ECCC premise on the 5th of June. Is this correct? Answer, yes, it is. President, we will now inform you of your right and obligation before this court. Mr. Sokru, as a witness before this court, you may refuse to respond to any question or request for your comments which could incriminate you. That is your right against self-incrimination. And the Visu, through the chamber appoints through Visu a duty counsel next to you, that is Mr. Mương Sawan. You may consult with him if you suspect that a question put to you may incriminate you. And here is your obligation. As a witness before this court, you must respond to all the questions put to you by any of the parties or by any judges of the bench. and you must tell the truth that you have heard, have known, have witnessed, or observed directly of any event that is put to you through the questions. And Mr. Songru, have you been interviewed or given testimony through the investigators of the Office of the Co-Investigating Judges in the last few years? That is from 2008 onward. Answer: no. Only the counsel for Key Sampon came to meet me. Thank you. And for the process of questioning this witness, Mr. Key Sampon's defense will be given the floor first before the rest of the parties. And the two defense teams would be allocated 15 minutes for this witness. And please allocate the time amongst yourself, because later the floor will be given to Nuon Chia's defense. Kung Sam-on, could you please clarify that you give us only 15 minutes? President, allow me to clarify, it's 1 hour, 15 minutes, but that's for the two groups, for the two teams. But Nuon Chia's team would put the question last, and you would put the question first before the rest of the parties. On. Thank you, Mr. President. I received an indication from Nuon Chia's defense that they do not need the time to put questions to this witness. President, yes, you may proceed. Counsel, thank you, Mr. President, and good afternoon, Your Honors. Mr. Sokru, I am Kong Sam-on. I am counsel for Mr. Keo Sampon, and I have some questions for you. The questions are related to Democratic Cambodia, that is the fact before us in case 002, and in particular, we would need your statement on the character of my client, Mr. Keo Sampon. Can you hear me properly? Answer: yes. Thank you. You stated that a counsel for Keo Sampon went to meet you. Can you specify the time or date? Answer: I cannot recall the date. Actually, it's about a year or two ago. Thank you. You also said the names of your parents. Are you part of the ethnic community? Answer: I am an ethnic minority. My original race is Tumpun from Ratanakiri province. Thank you. How long did you stay in Ratanakiri before you left for Phnom Penh? Answer: I left for Phnom Penh in late 1976. President, did you come to Phnom Penh directly from Ratanakiri, or did you stay somewhere else? Answer: I left my district, then I stayed with a unit along the Sesan River, and then I came to stay at a military unit. I stayed there for about 2 months, then I went down to Steng Train. Thank you. Regarding the use of a language, can you clearly understand the Khmer language in between 1975 to 1979? Answer. It was rather difficult at the time as I started learning the letters, the alphabets, and also learned to speak Khmer. Question. Where did you study the Khmer alphabets and how many years did you study? Answer. I studied the Khmer language and there was no formal school. I, in fact, asked those who were literate to teach me the Khmer language. And usually it was after hours, that is in the evening or at lunchtime. Because I found it difficult for the communication, and for that reason I needed to study and learn to speak. Question. How long did you study in that fashion? Answer. Every time I was transferred, for instance, from my village to the office, and then from the office to Stang Train, it was just a minor study, but I had the alphabet book with me most of the time. And I also continued my study in Phnom Penh. And I also did my self-study. Thank you. Question. Did you enroll in a formal education, for example, starting from year 1 up to year 2, year 3, during any time of your past experience? Answer. There was no continuous study in 1972 or 73. I studied only after I finished my work, and sometimes I had to stop because I had to assist my parents. Thank you. Besides studying literature, did you study any specialized areas or any technical aspect or field? Answer, no. Thank you. Question. As for your work experience, can you describe to us your work experience prior to 1979? Answer. I do not actually have much work experience besides where I worked in cleaning the grass in the field, for instance, and nothing much. Thank you. Question. In relation to your participation in the resistance movement prior to 1975, did you participate in such a movement? Answer. At that time, at Srok Le, there was a movement where children were mobilized and gathered, and that was in 1972 or 73. So sometimes I was called to the commune office to work there. And when they needed the children to work in the rice field, they would call us to do that. Question. Can you tell us a little bit more details besides working in the rice field or in the farm? Did you engage in any other work activities? Answer. That was all I did. And by 1973 or 74, I was in a unit with half the children have mobile, but we worked mainly in the rice fields near the river bank, that is the Sesan River, and I mainly stayed there and I rarely went home. Thank you. Question. When you left for Phnom Penh, how come you were brought to Phnom Penh? Answer. I went through Phnom Penh through the selection by Angka, as they would review the background and the work activities, the daily work activities I mean, and then they would select people based on these points. And the selection process started from the village to the commune to the district, and then the district to the province level. And at that time, the province was referred to as the zone. Answer. Can you briefly describe your background, including your work experience and the reasons why you were selected? Answer. The thing is, I never refused any task that I was given. I did not complain. Question. What about the social class? Answer. Yes, it is related to the social class. I was a son of the peasant class, so there was no difficulty in dealing with my social class. Thank you. Question. When you left for Phnom Penh, first, where did you go? Answer. I left Stung Train. Then I was taken to K8. Rather, it's K18. And it was adjacent to the K1 office situated along the riverbank. Question. Can you be specific? Is it K8 or K18? President witness, please observe a slight pause until you see the red light on your microphone, which means your microphone is activated, so your voice will go through the distribution system and your voice can be seamlessly interpreted into Khmer, into French and English. Counsel, please, could you be specific? Answer, it's K8. Counsel, thank you. Question. What was the function of K8? Answer. It was the vegetable plantation place. Question. What was the vegetable for? Answer. I did not know. We only focus on planting the vegetable and watering the vegetable, but I did not know where the vegetables were for. That was for the first few months that I stayed there. Question. Did you know who was the big chief at K8? Answer. At that time, there was a Han, or Uncle Han. Question. What was his position? That is a Han. Answer. People said that he was the chief of the office. Thank you. Question. How long did you stay at K8? Answer. I perhaps stayed there for 4 months. Question. Where did you go after? Answer. I went to K1. Question. Why? Answer. Because I was transferred. Question. Did you also change your job when you were transferred? Answer. Yes. At the new place, I got a new job. But actually, the nature of the job was the same. That is to clear the grass. Question. Does it mean that you were a vegetable grower and a grass clearer both at K8 and K1? Answer. Yes. Question. Did you know who was the chief of K1? Answer. I am not really sure, but there was this Uncle Dim that I frequently met him at the time. He was also from a ethnic minority. Question. Was Dim the one who was your immediate supervisor, or Dim was the top man at the K1? Answer. I did not know whether there was other people who were about him, but because he spoke the same language, so usually he came to me. Thank you. How long did you stay at K1? Answer. I stayed there probably for about 6 months. Question. Did you know the function of K1? Answer. I asked elder people who were there before me, and I was told it was the place for the leaders. Question. Did you know the functions of that office? Answer. No, I did not. I only focused on the tasks that I were given. Thank you. Question. Which leaders were at K1? Answer. No, I did not know because in the morning I went to work, so I did not know about the leaders. Question. Did you ever meet any senior leaders at K1 during the time that you worked there? Answer. No, I did not. Question. You stated you worked at K1 for 6 months, and where did you go after? Answer. I went to K3. Question. Did you go straight to K3? Or did you have to go elsewhere before you went to K3? Answer. No, I went straight to K3. Question. Can you recall the month or the year that you went to K3? Answer. It was in October, that is in late 77. Counsel, was it October 77 or October 78? Answer, it was in 78. Counsel, so it was October 78. And how long did you work at K3? Answer, I stayed there for a short period of time because by March 1979, it's gone. Counsel, you talk about March. Are you referring to the months that the Khmer Rouge regime failed? How long did you stay at the K3? Can you be more specific? Answer, I stayed there for about 3 months because by the 3rd of January we left Phnom Penh. Thank you. Question, what did you do at K3? Answer, at K3, the majority of my work was to clean the house or sometimes to guard the entrance, and sometimes I engage in my study at lunch and in the evening. Question, what did you study? Answer, that is the Khmer alphabets. Question, you stated that you sometimes also guarded. Can you be more specific? Answer, I guarded the entrance because I only did that when the guards actually had their lunch. Question, how many entrances at the K3? Answer, there were 2, one to the east and one to the west. Question, which entrance did you guard? Answer, it varied. It depends on where I was assigned to. Sometimes it was at the east, sometimes it was at the west. Question, what did you see while you were guarding the entrance? Answer, during my guard, I did not see anything because I already replaced the actual guards for 1 or 2 hours while they had a meal. I rarely guarded for the whole day. Question, can you tell us your immediate supervisor and the top leader at K3 if you knew? Answer, the chief of K3 office whom I met was Uncle Dim, but Dim already passed away. Question, what was his role? Answer, he was in charge of the management in that office.
Did you know any leaders of K3 office? Response, at the time I did not bother to know who the leader was. I only met and interacted with colleagues in my place, and I met others elderly people who told me that this was the place for senior leaders. Question, who did you meet? Who did you mingle around with at that time? Response, those elderly, those older brothers who came in earlier, for example, the late Savi, Brother Savi and others. Question, do you know that anyone whom you acquainted with at that time is still alive now? Response. No, overwhelming majority of them died already. We actually have parted from each other since the fall of the Khmer Rouge regime in 1979. Question. Did you know Mr. Kilsampon back then? Response. I only heard his name, but I never met him in person. I never acquainted with him either. Question. You only heard his name. How did you hear about his name? Did you learn it through the radio broadcast or any news news articles or from your friends? Can you please clarify it? Response. I heard it from my colleagues. Question. Who were your colleagues are you referring to? Response. The late Suen, Thon, John Lua. These people were working with me at that time. Question. Did you have or did you ever have a chance to talk to Mr. Kilsampon in person when you were in K3? Response. No. Thank you. Question. Did you know where Mr. Kilsampon was working when you were at K3? Response. I knew that he was in K3, but he was working in a different section and I was only doing my job in my place. Question. Who else in K3 who were the senior leaders whom you knew about? Response. I did not know that much at that time. Question. When you were in K3, did you know what Mr. Kilsampon did at that time? Response. No, I did not know. Question. Did you know about the eating time or eating arrangement for Mr. Kilsampon when you were there? Response. No, I did not know. Question. Did you know the visit of Mr. Kilsampon, the arrival of Mr. Kilsampon and his departure since you were the guard in K3 office? Response. No, I did not know. Question. Did you know the relation between Mr. Kilsampon and his colleagues or any of your colleagues whom you worked with? Response. No, back then I did not know. Thank you. Question. When did you become to know Mr. Kilsampon clearly? Response. I got to know him well in 1989. Question. From what year until what year? Are you talking about 1989 onwards, or it was from 1979 to 1989? Can you please clarify it? Response. I worked with him from 1989 up until 1995. Question. From 1989 to 1995, what was your role during this period? Response. I was his bodyguard. Question. How much did you know about his work when you were working as his bodyguard during the period? Response. I only observed that he worked very hard. He was a very diligent worker. Actually, he had his own work, and then I only minded my own business at that time. Question. Could you please tell the court the place where you worked from 1985 to 1989 to 1995? Where was it? Did you work? Response. Well, at that time, we moved from one place to another, to Pailan, Phnom Chat, and Long Weng, to Thai land. Question. During the period with which you stay with Mr. Kheo Sampon, how long per day would you stay close to Mr. Kheo Sampon? Response. Well, I spent a lot of times with him. Actually, we were working in the jungle, and he was actually at that time in charge of foreign affairs. He traveled back and forth to overseas, and then whenever he came back to his home, I would go to my house and he stayed at his home. But normally, wherever he went, he would ask me to escort him. Question. Do you know his family members or his wife? Response. Yes, I do. Question. How much do you know about his education? Response. In the past, I did not know. I only came to know about it in a later stage. Question. How much do you know about his work background, his qualification, particularly his work from the past regimes before you came to work with him? Response. Well, back then I did not bother to find out of his personal background or his education. I only learned about it when I was working with him. Thank you. Question. Can you tell the court the overall character of Mr. Kheo Sampon, or his general, behaviors or conducts of life when you were working with him? Response. Personality-wise, for Mr. Kheo Sampon, he was very firm person. He is not a short-tempered person, and he is very meticulous. He is very thoroughful, and he is a reasonable person. he generally advised his subordinates, people like me. He guided me on my work. For me, I am from ethnic minority. He advised me how to make a living, how to get involved in the society and others. This is to my recollection as far as I can recall from my interaction with him. He never looked down on poor people or peasant. Question. Have you ever encountered with any incidents or moment that made you unhappy or upset, or you became angry with Mr. Khieu Samphan during that period when you were working with him? Response. To date, I have never had any resentment for Mr. Khieu Samphan, because he is the person who never put any blames on subordinates. He only guided us on our work. He advised us, and he normally advised us if we needed to get anything done. Question. How about other people? What did you observe about the reactions of other people for Mr. Khieu Samphan? Did those people get angry with him, or what was the general reaction of Mr. Khieu Samphan friends toward him in general? Response. No, I did not witness that they were upset with him for any reason. Question. Concerning political view, can you share your observation based on what you heard from Mr. Khieu Samphan? Did he ever advise you anything in relation to political viewpoints? Response. Generally, whenever he talked with me, he discussed the free market economy, the use of bank notes, the generation of income for the family, and how to behave decently as a citizen. So he normally advised us to this effect. As for other political advice, I never received from him. Question. Concerning the advice Mr. Khieu Samphan gave to you directly, particularly in relation to the organization of family, the generation of income for family, what comes to your mind? What strike you the most when he was advising you at that time? Response. No, I did not observe anything other than what I have just described. Question. To your recollection, what are the good activities or good deed of Mr. Khieu Samphan in relation to his colleagues or his friends in general when you were working with him? Response. During the period I was working with him, for others I did not observe any resentment, any problem at all in relation with Mr. Khieu Samphan. Question. Do you have anything to add in relation to his behavior, his good deed or good treatment to other people when you were working with him? It is a time that you may wish to enlighten the court on that. Response: No, I have none. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I have no further question. Mr. Sokru, I have no further question for you, and I thank you very much for answering my question. The President: Thank you. Now I hand over the floor to Judge Jean-Marc Lavigne. You may proceed, Judge.
Oui, merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Mr. Witness. I'm Judge Laverne. I'd like to ask you a few additional questions to what have already been put to you this afternoon. You were questioned about Mr. Kyosampon's personality, and if I was listening correctly, you said that it was somebody who was very firm but not prone to anger, who was meticulous, who applied himself seriously, and who was reasonable. Now, my question to you is, did you perceive Mr. Kyosampon as somebody who had certain convictions, or rather somebody who had self-doubt?
Response: For me, I know that he has a firm conviction for whatever he did, and whatever he did, he never caused any trouble or cast any blame on me or his subordinate.
Did Mr. Kyosampon have a chance to express regret in respect of events that he might have been involved with?
That I do not know, Your Honor.
Did you ever talk with him about what happened between 1975 and 1979, or were those things that were never discussed?
No, it was never discussed at all, and I did not know about it either.
When you got to Phnom Penh, you said that you were at K1 and then K3. You met various individuals. As the years went by when you were in Phnom Penh, did you ever notice that some people disappeared?
No, that I did not know either, because at that time I did not understand Khmer very well. When people talk about rather complex subject matter, I would not understand.
I'm not talking to you about complicated things. I'm asking you if, among the people that you knew in your entourage who worked with you, if you ever saw that any had disappeared. Just one day they were no longer there and you never saw them again. Did that kind of thing happen?
In my entourage, I did not see anybody disappear.
Did you ever participate in criticism or self-criticism sessions? Are these terms that you're aware of?
Well, in my entourage, we normally had this criticism and self-criticism section among us.
And what about with Mr. Kyosampon? Did you talk about these criticism and self-criticism sessions, and did he have anything to say to you on the subject?
When I was working with him, he did not take part in the self-criticism session. We only self-criticize ourselves in our team during the period when I was staying with him.
Ma question.
The question I was asking you was, once you were Mr. Kyosampon's security guard, did he ever talk to you on the subject of these criticism and self-criticism sessions?
No, actually, he never discussed the self-criticism session with me. Other people did talk to me about self-criticism session. When we met as a group or unit, we normally exchange our view in order to take lesson learned from each other. As for Mr. Kyosampon, never had he told me anything about criticism session.
Quand tout à l'heure,
Just now, you said that Mr. Kyosampon was a person with a firm character. Are you trying to say that he was somebody who knew how to command and who garnered respect?
Yes, that is correct. That's what he interacted with me. When he worked with me, the way he talked to me, he actually had these firm things, and he used ordinary language, everyday language with me. But he never attended a meeting with me. He only talked to me on a personal level. He shared his view.
But when Kyosampon gave you an order, and when you saw him giving orders to others, these were very clear things which were immediately put into practice. Is my understanding correct?
When I was working with him, I tried to talk about the period when I started working with him very closely from 1989. Actually, he worked outside of the country other than inside the country. I mean, internally, I mean, his work with the various offices. I was working closely with him. Only a few of us were interacting with each other. Normally, he did not work very closely with the various offices. He worked with external places. That's what I experienced when I was working with him in 1989.
yeah, peut-être.
Perhaps my question was not clear enough. For you, is Mr. Kyosampon somebody with leadership capacities? Does he know how to command and give orders?
I do not understand the command. Are you talking about the command in the military structure, or what command is it about?
Monsieur,
Mr. Kyosampon was somebody in a position of authority. He was your superior. He was in a position of authority over a certain number of people. And so the question I'm asking you is, from that position, did he know how to lead and command?
Well, at that time when I was working with him, he actually did not issue the command. It was not an authoritative command. He only advised us, and his advice was for only 3 or 4 of us who were around him. And in my capacity as his bodyguard at that time, he talked to me and advised me in relation to my work, things to do with my security protection things. And as for his work, he did it by himself. I did not know about that. He only advised us concerning the security affairs.
Monsieur, vous étiez...
Mr. Witness, you were his bodyguard. When he gave you orders, did you obey? Yes or no?
Yes, when I was working with him from 1989, he of course was my superior, so if he said I had to go with him, then I had to go.
Alors, j'ai une dernière question.
I have a last question for you, sir. You said at the start of this hearing that you were contacted by or you met Kyo Sompon's lawyer. Is there somebody in this courtroom who you recognize as being the person who you met? Who are you talking about when you say that you met Mr. Kyo Sompon's lawyer?
No. If I met someone once, I dare not to look at the face of that person.
Cette personne, vous avez dit...
But you said this person was Kyo Sompon's lawyer. Am I correct? You've heard people asking you questions today. Are these the same people who came to meet you? Are they the same as the ones who were asking you questions today?
No, it was not him.
Batman.
Et alors, vous connaissez son nom?
Well, do you know the person's name?
No, I don't recall his name.
Et qu'est-ce qu'elle vous...
And what did this person say to you when he or she came to see you?
He asked me the questions like the counsel asked me about the background, my background.
Bien, je vous remercie.
Very well, thank you. I have no further questions to put to this witness, Mr. President.
President, thank you. The floor is now given to the prosecution to put questions to this witness. You may proceed.
Mr. President, Your Honours, may it please you, and good afternoon to my fellow counsel in the court, and good afternoon to you, Mr. Witness, this afternoon. Mr. President, I'd like, please, with your leave, to start my questioning by picking up on the questions that have just been asked by His Honour Judge Laverne. For these purposes, Mr. President, I would like to show to this witness the front page of the following document. It is E3/71. It is a sworn OCIJ witness statement from TCW 639, a statement taken by the co-investigating judges on the 14th of February 2009. I propose, with your leave, Mr. President, to show the first page of this witness statement to our witness so that he's able to confirm whether he knows the witness or not. With your leave, Mr. President, can that please be done?
President, yes, you may do so.
Mr. President, can I explain to you and to everyone else in court that this statement has literally been printed hot off the press by one of my learned colleagues on this team. I can only give English ERN numbers for the relevant pages. Now, Mr. Sokruer, can I please first of all ask, do you have any knowledge of the man whose name appears on this statement? Yes or no?
President and Mr. Sauria, please wait. The National Council for Kil Sampon, you may proceed. Council, thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask the prosecution to enlighten the chamber whether this document has been put on the interface. And please adhere to the existing practice.
I hope the lack of wisdom in that question becomes apparent immediately. This is something, Mr. President, that has arisen directly from testimony this afternoon. It's risen directly from testimony that we could not have anticipated because we do not have any prior statement from this witness. To use the Latin phrase, it has arisen ex improviso. There's therefore absolutely no way that this document could have been put on the interface. I hope that's apparent now to my learned friend. Can I please continue? I add, it's on the case file and it's on the Rule 80 list. Do you recognise the name, yes or no?
Answer, no, I don't.
Right, well, this is a witness, and so everyone can follow on the English ERNs. ERN English 002888623. This witness was asked, when did you stop working at K18? The answer, I worked at K18 until 1993 or 1994. ERN English 002888622. In the middle of that page, This witness describes that they were a telegram translator, and in relation to the period at K18, this witness said the following. At that time, Pol Pot and Khieu Samphan were also staying at K18. So my first question to you is it correct from your knowledge and observations when you were at K18 that Khieu Samphan spent time together with Pol Pot?
At that time, I did not know. Only later I knew that it was their workplace. Because at that time I was only a grass clearer.
I think you're probably misunderstanding my question, Mr. Sokru. I'm not talking about the place you described as K8 back in the 1970s. I'm talking about the place that you described as K18, and you described being there in the 1990s, in 1992 and 1993. So I'm going to put the question as simply as I can. When you were working with Khieu Samphan at K18 in the 1990s, was Khieu Samphan working together with or ever in the company of Pol Pot?
During the period of 91 or 92, it was a period of war, and I did not speak anything in regards to what you said. I was with him in 1999. My apology, it was 1989 that I was with him.
Let's clarify, please, the testimony that you've given this court today. You have told this court that you worked with Khieu Samphan as his bodyguard from 1989 until 1995. Is that earlier testimony correct, or are you now changing your answers to this court?
I was with him from 1989 to around 1996. And prior to that, while I just came to Phnom Penh, I stayed here for a few months and there for a few months.
Because I'm not asking you about that. Let's get back to what I'm asking you, please. Is your testimony to these judges in this court that in the whole of the time you were Khieu Samphan's bodyguard from 1989 to 1996, you never even saw Pol Pot? Yes or no?
Yes, I saw him, but I was not close to him.
Khieu Samphan was close to him, wasn't he?
They were within the leadership circle, and it's beyond my understanding.
During this 7-year period, how many times did you see them together, Pol Pot and Khieu Samphan?
During the time that I stayed with him, yes, they frequently met one another.
Where would they meet?
Most of the time they met at their office. For example, Office 89 along Koh Kong and Pailan area.
You said they met at their office. Was this an office shared by Khieu Samphan and Pol Pot?
Yes, because at that time we were in the jungle and there had to be an office for them to work.
Did they work together quite often?
I did not know the frequency of how they worked together because once he went in through the office, I focused on my other task.
Did Pol Pot have bodyguards?
Yes, he did.
How often did you, as a bodyguard for Khieu Samphan, get together with Pol Pot's bodyguards?
At that time, I was pretty young, and we usually met one another.
Can you remember the names of any of Pol Pot's bodyguards?
Most of the bodyguards around the time that I worked there disappeared, and I do not know about the rest of the bodyguards or where they are living at the moment, as we haven't had contacted one another.
Sorry, Pol Pot's bodyguards disappeared? Is that what you just said?
By disappeared, I meant they moved elsewhere after the reintegration. Some of them died during the war, and the rest could die because of illness. And the majority of whom I knew died.
Right, I want you to imagine it's the 7-year period when you're Khieu Samphan's bodyguard, and I'm going to ask you about a typical day. Now, that might be difficult because each day is different. But just give us an idea of how much contact you had with Khieu Samphan in the average day as his bodyguard.
If we were at our place and he did not have to go to work elsewhere, I would only did my task and he did his task. And if he were to go to work outside, then he would call me to escort him. But if we work at our place, then I would only work on my task and he did his.
Let's take a day where he asks you to come and accompany him somewhere. I mean, what sort of meetings would he go to? And what would you do when he was in a meeting?
I did not know the nature of his meeting, and the meeting at the time took place near the Kakong area, and we were in the forest along the Kravanya mountain range, and sometimes it was near Pailan and in Samlod. That was the place that he worked during the war time. But most of the time, it was along the Kravanya mountain range located in Kokong.
When you were at K18 for 7 years, were there ever any meetings of all the cadre, all the soldiers of K18?
No, he did not deal with the military.
Right, I'm going back to the statement that we were referring to earlier. Page number English ERN 002888626. And this witness says as follows. Pol Pot and Khieu Samphan, who were my direct supervisors, were the persons who gave direct orders at K18. From your experience, do you agree with that or disagree with that?
President, a witness, please wait. Counsel, you may proceed. Counsel, thank you, Mr. President. The prosecution is now leading the line of questionings outside the facts being put before this court, that is case 002/01. What is being raised by the prosecution is related to the events took place after 1979, which falls outside the scope of the temporal jurisdiction of this court. This is a character witness. This is not the witness to highlight the relationship or the affairs of the Democratic Cambodia after 1979. Thank you.
Whether the defence has scored an own goal, I'll leave for others to judge. But, Mr. President, the reality is this. The defence asked for this witness. The defence indicated that this was a witness going to fact and character. Somebody's character is not indivisible. Somebody's character does not just relate to a specific period in time. Somebody's character comes as a whole. Judge Laverne has asked questions about the ability of Khieu Samphan to give orders. This questioning is along the exactly same lines that Judge Laverne has adopted, and it should be permitted to continue, however uncomfortable that may be for the defence.
President, the Chamber rejects the objection raised by the Defense Counsel. The Chamber needs to hear the response to that question. Witness, please respond to the last question put to you by the prosecution.
Mr. President, can I please repeat the question given the objection? Mr. Witness, Sok Rua, I'm referring, as you know, to another witness statement. And this witness states in his statement to the investigating judges the following, and I quote, Pol Pot and Khieu Samphan, who were my direct supervisors, were the persons who gave direct orders at K18. From your experience and observations, is that correct or incorrect?
I actually spoke about K3. As for K18, I did not speak about K18. I only spoke about K3.
Forgive me, Mr. Sokru, please don't try and avoid the question. Judge Laverne has put to you specific questions about Khieu Samphan's ability to lead and him giving orders. I see there's an objection, so I won't carry on at this stage.
Oui, merci, Monsieur le Président.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I would like to make a brief remark as an objection to the manner in which the witnesses' utterances are being characterized. The witness, in response to a question put to him by my learned colleague, referred to K8. Now the prosecutor is referring to K18. Now, the response of the witness shows that there is a mix-up. Something is not clear. Instead of saying that he is avoiding the question, the prosecutor should clarify the question so that the witness's response should correspond to a specific question.
President, thank you. The prosecution, could you repeat your question and clarify the point through the witness, and you should specify or seek a clarification from the witness. Is it K3, K8 or K18?
Let's be absolutely clear. You have described the office that you worked at as K18 from 1989 to 1996. Is this office K18? Yes or no?
It seems to me that the K18 office only established during the wartime.
In the whole of the time that you were working with Khieu Samphan, are you saying that you never saw or heard him give a direct order?
No, I did not know anything regarding the orders.
How many bodyguards did he have when you were a bodyguard?
I was the only bodyguard, and in fact there was another one, but that one was young.
I'm going back to some other themes now. You met.
President, thank you, the prosecution. We will take a 15-minute break, and we return at 2:45. Court officer, could you assist the witness during the break and have him return to the courtroom at 2:45? Thank you.